Hey guys, real quick before the video starts, be sure to check out my Discord server. The link will be at the top of the description. And also go subscribe to Winter because he helped me create the Discord server. Anyways, let's get right into the video. Hey, what's going on guys? Dragon Dog here and welcome back to another Brawl Stars video. In today's video, I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to become a top player in Brawl Stars. But before that, I just want to say thank you so much for over 600 subscribers. I want to say thank you for all the recent support on the channel, and it really does mean a lot to me. Now let's get into those 5 tips on how to become a top player. My first tip is to master every single brawler. And what I mean by this is to play every brawler until you feel comfortable enough to just play it at random. Another thing you should do is learn how to play them on each map and what specific map and game mode they're good at. And one more thing is to learn the favorable matchups for a brawler. Like for example, Nita is really good against a Tara, but a Tara isn't good against a Nita. So you should know which matchups you will most likely win and which matchups you most likely won't win. However, if you are skilled enough, you will be able to beat any brawler in the game with any brawler. My second tip is to master every single game mode. And what I mean by this is to be comfortable with any game mode. So if you were to go into a random team and they're like, let's play Brawl Ball, or let's play Siege, or Gem Grab, or Heist, or Bounty, you will be confident enough to play in any single one of them, and you'll be sure to win every single game. This helps when you're trying to push certain brawlers. So some game modes are just better for some brawlers. For example, Piper is just really good in Bounty, and that's her game mode. You could play her in Gem Grab or Heist, but she's mainly good in Bounty because she's a long range brawler and she can rack up a lot of kills. If you know how to play every single game mode, it will lead you to a lot of success in pushing. My third tip is find a team you play well with. These should be people you synergize really well with and you get along with. Also, these guys you should be playing with constantly. And if you keep playing with the same people, you'll start to learn each other's strengths and weaknesses, and you'll be able to cover for those. Another thing is the team you find should play around the same time you do. This helps because you know you'll always have a team to play with at the same time every single night, and this really helps with trophy pushing because it saves you that time of trying to assemble a team and a good team to make sure you win every single game. This is much better than assembling a random team because you won't know how your random team plays with, versus if you play with the same people every single night, you'll know how they play and you'll know how to compensate for their weaknesses, and they'll know how to compensate for your weaknesses. Having a solid team you always play with overall will just help you improve as a player because they might be able to teach you some strategies or unique ways to improve in Brawl Stars, and you might be able to do the same for them. So my fourth tip is to do a preseason push. So a preseason push comes before your main push to the leaderboards. This is the time you want to push every single brawler from 500 to 600 or maybe even 700. I don't recommend going above 700 though unless you're doing your real push, which comes right after your preseason push. The reason why most people don't go above 700 trophies in a preseason push is that you just gain less trophies. So for every one game you play, you'll get 3 trophies instead of 5 trophies, which slows down your progression of the preseason push, because the goal of the preseason push is to get as high as you can without burning out for the next season. If you have a successful preseason push, it will significantly help you going to the leaderboards or even breaking your personal best. Personally, I think preseason pushes are necessary because they will save you a lot of time when you're doing your real push. During your real push, you won't need to push as many trophies in the 2-week period during a season because you will already have a little mini head start from your preseason push. My final tip is to make sure you have a lot of time. Pushing is really time consuming, not for the gameplay, but for the matchmaking. Most of the times, games take around 2 to 5 minutes to find, and sometimes it could take up to 10 minutes if you're really high up in trophies. So you should be ready to compensate for all that time you're waiting for a match. I suggest that if you're pushing during the daytime, you should have something to occupy yourself with in between games because matchmaking can take a long time. Also, if you're pushing during the nighttime, I suggest hopping on a voice call with your team to keep each other awake, and also it just is a lot less boring waiting for a game if you're able to talk to your team about the next game or whatever. That's it for the main 5 tips, but here are some mini tips that will help you. If you have communication during a game, that really helps because it helps with callouts and just knowing where everyone is on the map. Another thing you should know is that you do not need max brawlers to push really high up on the leaderboards. There's been people pushing up with only level 7 brawlers and they've gotten to #1 in the world. One thing I don't recommend while pushing for high ranking on the leaderboard is doing Showdown. Showdown has such a high risk of losing trophies because there's teamers or you might just be unlucky with the power cubes, and this will give you a greater chance of losing trophies. So I suggest 3v3 game modes only because it's consistent trophies and you have the greatest chance of winning. However, it is possible to push completely in Showdown. It's just going to be a little bit harder, but if you're a skilled player in Showdown, go for it. Finally, the thing you should be most aware about is knowing when you're starting to tilt. Tilting can be the death of any single push you do. So I suggest if you're starting to lose a lot of games consistently or you're just not gaining trophies anymore, take a break. Don't keep going because you could risk you losing all the trophies you gained for the day. So just take an hour break and then come back to it later, or just go to sleep and play tomorrow when you're fresh and you're ready to go. Anyways guys, that's it for today's video. I hope these tips help you to push to the top of the leaderboard. And also, if you haven't already, join my brand new Discord server. Over there, we spitball ideas for videos in the future, and also sometimes I give sneak peeks of videos I'm working on. So you guys should all join up, but other than that, be sure you leave a like, comment down below what you think of today's video. Also, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace. Could be us. Could be us.